everyone, I'm Evok, ex-GM of Quebec City Citadels. I'm with Caleb
Hello.
and Raymond. Ramen.
Hello.
Not Raymond, Ramen. Oh, I don't know how you pronounce it actually.
It's ramen.
Ramen, yeah, like the pastas, the noodles. So, welcome to the house Hoot tonight, since all main podcasts on SHL is named something something tonight. Like the Lions speak tonight and hockey talk tonight. So I figure we will stay in the team. Uh, to start off, we will go over how the season is going. It's Ramen. Oh my god, I'm gonna say that forever now. It's Ramen's first season as GM. So
It's
how
not
it's
my
going?
fault. Well, it's going. It's going better as of like right now than it was the first half of the season when we were the preseason favorites and then came out like sub 500 for a good 40 games.
Yeah.
But we've turned it around. Um, Standings not looking the way we hoped. I think we were shooting for one or two overall, and we're sitting in fifth right now, which is not that great. But if you look at game trends, you look at our last 10, we certainly look like a much stronger team than we did at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to blame all of it on FHM 8 and the exorbitant lack of information that we had going in. And I'm just going to assume everyone who started out strong totally cheated, and it's all their fault.
Yeah, I agree.
I can for sure see that. Of course, everyone cheated.
I'm going to put
Um,
my tinfoil hat on and start the conspiracies out strong.
Yeah, we also had the issue with the preseason file that was reset. That didn't help
Yeah,
overall
no chemistry
anyone's.
whatsoever to start the year.
Yeah, but it's things that happen with the change of a new engine.
But
And
there's a ton of positives. I mean, we've got even after an abysmal start by the expectations we had going in, like Shiloh is currently leading the goals race, and it's not even by a close margin. With 3 games in hand over the number two spot, he's still got a 4 goal lead. That's pretty amazing. He's sitting at 40 goals so far on the season. There's a really good chance that he's able to break the goals record, and that would be an outstanding way to end a season.
yeah, do you remember
And then,
the exact number of the goal record right now? I think it's 46.
now that Azran Bot is back from the dead, I can even look.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's really not far from it. And for those listening that don't know, uh, the gold record is owned currently by Sofia with her player name. Uh, I forgot.
Grayson Cooper
Grayson
with
Cooper.
49
Yes,
goals.
49. Okay, that's more than I
49.
expected. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
So
it'll be very, very tough to break that record, and it's possible. 50 is within sight for the first time ever. So FHM 8, great for goal scorers, not so great for goalies.
but that's all engine, to be honest.
Yes.
Like even with
But
the other FHM6, it was pretty bad.
oh, it's always been bad. But we do have, if I remember right, either the best save percentage in the league
We do.
or close to. Yep, tied for number one for Caleb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we still do with Caleb at 909.
Yeah, what a league this is that number one goalie is 909. That
Yeah.
makes me cry.
That's not
Um,
even at 300 TP.
Yeah, it's
as we all know, TPE is inversely proportional for goalie stats, so the more you earn, the worse you play.
True.
that's actually true because that's what I experienced with Elizabeth Doyle as well on the SHL level.
Yeah. And it's basically a battle between Nevada and Quebec in the goals against average because me and Justin or Ramen, Jesus, Evok. Uh,
It's
but
gonna be like
we're
that
back.
forever.
Yeah, we're at 3 and 4 while uh Dexter Harrison and I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that name. They're at 1 and 2, so it's kind of fun to see how that plays out.
If we go for a French pronunciation, it's Sauveterre. But I'm not sure if it's a French like
I
pronunciation.
am not sure either. I'm gonna defer to Evok on this one and assume that that's the right way to pronounce it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll listen to this and maybe correct us. Who knows, though?
Yeah, that could be good. But like basically, if it's French, it's Sauveterre. That's a fact I know for sure. I just don't know if it's French. So
Yeah.
we'll figure out with time, not just in
Yes.
time, but time.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Pun was totally intended. I need to
Yeah.
be proud of it.
Yes.
So
But yeah, league so far. I mean, what are you guys thinking right now? Because it's pretty clearly Nevada sitting on top with Colorado and Yukon right behind.
yes,
Um,
I'm.
who do you think takes the Lorifer at the end of the season?
I think it's gonna be really close. Between the two, and even Yukon could have a. Yukon, no, never mind. Yukon is a bit too far to have a chance. But
I yeah.
I think Nevada has a really strong chance to have it.
I think Nevada's mostly gonna get it only because I think they're like one of the only teams that have been consistent on a home and away basis, unlike half the other teams who are really good at home and really shitty in
Yeah,
another person's stadium.
that's
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
a really good fact because
looking at that, the number two team in Colorado is sitting at 15, 11, and 3. That's basically 500 on the road,
yeah,
and Nevada is just consistently dominant. And that's really, really impressive, especially since FHM 8 seems to really care about home versus away. Like home ice advantage, I've never given it a second thought until now.
oh,
And boy,
yeah, and
that it makes a difference.
the surprising fact is that there's some team that seems to perform mostly better at on the road than at home, even though we see a clear bias of
I
like.
see St. Louis doing that, but do
And
you see
Vancouver.
anybody? Oh, Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver also have a better record.
Interesting.
Even though I don't entirely agree Vancouver should be as good as they are this season, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Now you gotta say Vancouver gets the overperformers award if there is such a thing.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Like
Yeah.
whatever, however they managed to find the winning secret sauce, they found it and they found it early. And yeah, with an average TPE that really wasn't that high, they just shot up to the top of the standings. They've cooled off now. I think the rest of the league has kind of
Catching up.
made the tweaks they need to, and they're catching up. But yeah, Vancouver found it right off the bat, and it's going to carry him to what is probably, if not a first round bye, a really good playoff spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see in their division. No, yeah,
Who do they share the
I don't
division
think.
with?
I don't think they will have a
Oh, it's
chance.
Nevada.
It's
Yep.
Nevada.
Ah,
But they will have
those
a strong
14
playoff.
divisions.
Yeah, I
It's
think
been
they will have a
it,
great chance to have a good position anyway.
it's gonna be fun to see how Yukon and Colorado play out because they're in the same division and they're both
It's
they're 3 points away from each other, so
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyone can take that spot.
if we're gonna
I'll
talk about the great injustices in SMJHL standings and division alignment, we've got the top four teams in the league, and they are in two divisions, maybe the same conference. Yep, they're all the same conference.
Yeah, let's see the
The
conference.
Atlantic Conference,
Yeah.
which is an absolutely hysterical name,
I also
is
yeah, I don't
just mind-blowingly good, and the Pacific is not.
As
yeah,
good.
the top Pacific team would place 5th in the Atlantic.
It's actually really
So
funny because
It's us.
yeah,
yeah.
but like when you talk about the name, it's like we changed the name of the division, but I think we never thought about changing the conference as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Nevada's definitely on the Atlantic coast.
Noted Pacific City, Quebec.
Or Maine.
Oh god, and Newfoundland. I mean, as far as I know, it's even more east than us. So
Uh-huh.
that's actually hilarious. It's like when we won the Pacific Trophy or whatever it is. It's like
Yeah, two
that
seasons
made no
ago.
sense. But I guess.
Yeah, Newfoundland is far more north and east, so there you go.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, the Atlantic is all Western
yeah.
teams.
And what blew my
Nevada,
mind,
Colorado, Vancouver,
Fucking Anchorage.
what I also
Anchorage.
really not like about this, and I was hoping that we could see a fix in a way or another with the playoff with FHM 8, but I'm told this might not be the case. I'm not aware if it is at the time of this recording. I ask more information about it, but we will see in the future. But the four-team conference, we have Detroit again being literally fucked with their division, their conference. 50 point, fifth in the league from the bottom, and still at risk of missing the playoff.
And yet they would be second if they were in our division.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy, and would definitely make the playoff. So that's something I'm really sad for them to
Yeah.
see that
I mean,
that's how it's gonna end up.
I've always been a proponent of every team should be in a position where they have to fight to make the playoffs, even in the J.
I'm the other way
But
around.
I know you're the other way around, and we can fight about it forever. But the division system that we currently have definitely, like, if you're going to make two teams miss the playoffs, and those teams are going to be, you know, in a position where they have to decide whether they're tanking or fighting for it or what have you, it's it's not a great look to have the team that's in 10th in the league miss the playoffs when 11, 12, 13 all make it.
Yeah.
And I really hope that that's something that we continue to look at and try and improve on, because it would be better if we can make the standings align more closely with how the league performs.
Yeah, I think the main issue was at the time seasons ago was that we either had the choice of having 12 team in the playoff or to have 8, which so that all of the league is missing it. And not necessarily in good position because it might have been on division either or something. I don't know all the detail about it. Um,
If the playoffs didn't
but yeah,
last so long, I would be a proponent of cutting it down to 8.
yeah,
But the
I
fact is,
agree
the
with you.
playoffs take a long time, and you don't want players, especially at the J level,
Yeah,
to just sit and not play for 5 weeks, because that's unbearable, and
yeah,
that makes people not want to play.
yeah. That's basically what I see as well for this. It's like you have basically almost the same amount of time as playoff as we have regular season. And even though like it cut all of the teams each time, it's like it's still a week more that they get to enjoy, at least. But yeah, if playoff was like a week and it's done and it's over, I would be like 8. Yeah, okay, I can see 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a dilemma that everyone have to face to an extent. It's like for
Come on,
someone
Caleb,
not
this is your second season. You need to have really heated hot takes.
Listen, I have I haven't learned a lot yet, to be honest, but I'm getting there.
That's the beauty of the SHL, is you don't actually have to know anything to have opinions.
you just have to assume and run with it.
Yeah, you just have to
Yeah.
feel strongly about something.
Like we feel about sim time.
Yeah.
It,
Oh my
if I've
God.
learned anything from being in GM chat, it's that you don't actually have to know much to have strong opinions and voice them loudly.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you have a big mouth, you will be listening even like whatever happened. It's
That's
just a
not to
matter.
call out any of the GMs in particular. It's just always there. It's always fun.
Oh, it's the same on every level, to be honest. We hear more about, like, for the SHL level, even, we hear more about those who have bigger mouth because they are the one that complain, and it's normal because it's real life too. It's like, in real life, if there's an issue, you will hear about those people that talk about it and not
Oh,
those
the
that just live with it.
JGM chat is full of hot takes and some bad opinions. but it's got nothing on SHL.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know if it's been better now in SHL or not, because it's been a while that I haven't seen anyone complain about the GM chat in SHL. So that's something to maybe have to keep an eye on. Maybe things
Maybe it
are
lives on
improving.
just by reputation.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe things are improving and we just complain because that's what SHL do. We just complain.
Bro. It's I've complained way too many times about a lot of things in the league. Sometimes it's complete bullshit. Other times, most of the people agree with me.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding like what seems to be mattering or not.
Well,
Yeah,
the other side of the coin here is we can all recognize that something's a problem and not being done well. But in order to change that, someone has to be willing and able to put in the work to fix it. And nobody's getting paid for this. I mean, I get paid lots of SHL bucks, but I can't, make a mortgage payment with those. So at the end of the day, if I have to choose between going to work and doing my real job or complaining on the internet about SHL stuff,
The choice is quickly made.
options are limited. Yeah,
Especially when you own a house and it's like, yeah, if I don't want to lose my house, I kind of have to buy.
yeah, it's the
uh,
little things.
yeah, I wish I could be paid to do SHL. I mean, I would totally dedicate 40 hours of my time and more if I was paid for it, but I'm
Oh,
not.
that'd be so much better than my current job.
That's not hard. It would be much better than my current job, too.
yeah, probably the same for me, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
um, alright. Do we have some hot takes on some playoff? Like, what do we see about who do we think is gonna win the cup except QCC because we all know that we all think it's
Obviously,
UCC.
obviously, QCC is winning this cup, but no, I think this would really help if I had any way to visualize how playoff seeding works. Even when someone tells me how it works, I got nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I only know who's gonna be having the bye, and that's pretty much all I understand about those playoffs as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Nevada is the team that everyone's going to be fearing the most, I think. I expect them
Yes.
to win the Lorifer. I expect them to go in as the number one seed. And because home ice advantage is such a big deal, even if it doesn't particularly matter to Nevada, it matters a lot to whoever's going to be playing them. So if you go in assuming you've got to win every one of your home games and steal one on the road, that's tough to do.
Yeah.
Nevada's great at that. Colorado's exceptionally good at home. You might have a better shot at your road games there. Obviously, Quebec's going to win the whole thing, but if I had to pick someone from outside of that current top four, um, let's see here. I would, if I'm going to pick a dark horse, it's probably Regina.
That's
I
true.
look at
They're
when
really
I'm
good
filling out
these days.
predictions, and I am one of I think three people who actually got playoff predictions perfect for the SHL last season.
Oh.
I made my playoff predictions entirely off of goal differential because I think in the long run, I mean, goal differential can look really funky early in the season because whoever plays Edmonton and their roster of nothing but inactives is going to get a lot of goals.
Bro.
But over the course of an entire season, goal differential I think is a really good indicator for not only how often do you win games, but period by period, minute by minute, how well do you outperform your opponents.
And we
I
can
would
see.
expect,
Yeah, we can see
yeah,
that they have a pretty good one. It's fifth in the league.
you put Regina against St. Louis, I'm picking Regina every time, even though St. Louis is going to have a first round bye, most likely.
Yeah, they
I
will because I think yeah they are in competition with Maine.
Maine's up there.
Yeah, and even then, if you put Maine versus St. Louis, I would assume you pick Maine. So
I would pick Maine. Yeah, I think they're the stronger team. That's not to bash St. Louis. They've actually done a really good job of kind of coming out of the perpetual half rebuild and really committing towards a strong future. I expect the Scarecrows to be even stronger next season. But I think this season, right now, Maine's probably going to take the lead.
Uh, so yeah, it's gonna be close between the two, even there. And if in the end, St. Louis, yeah, I'm expecting either St. Louis or Maine to get that last buy spot, which is still crazy to think that the last buy will be about like seventh in the league.
Yeah,
um, yeah, and the crazy thing is that if we still have the same, and it's the discussion that everyone has every season, is that if we still have the same format as before, we will more than likely see Nevada or Colorado in the final, not both of them, because the first seed will face the second seed.
that is the other biggest problem that I have with the
I agree.
current seeding for playoffs. The fact that the one seed can play the two seed anywhere but the finals is just absolutely wrong.
It's mind blowing, to be honest. Uh, because it's like, how do you explain that after like the end? It's like that's just looking so bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's, you know, not HO's fault. They have to make do with really
With what
poor
they
options
have.
available in FHM. Yeah, but it's not great. It's not a great look, and I do hope that FHM 8 gives us some better options. I know one of the issues that has been brought up in GM chat that is being addressed is the scheduling. We
Okay.
had some weird schedules this season
Oh, really?
with, I think, if I remember right, a record number of back-to-backs, which are exceptionally hard on J teams because stamina is a thing. Stamina is probably the most important attribute in an FHM player build.
Yeah.
It's why when we made the move to 3 lines this season instead of 4, we also bumped everybody's stamina up.
Yeah.
I think you could make an argument that we needed to bump it up even higher, but HO is looking at ways to modify the schedule because FHM 8 does uh, allow for schedules to be customized.
That's
We're
good.
going to try and reduce the number of back to backs and make sure that we have more consistent games. Because also, I don't know if it's the first time it's ever happened, but it's the first time I've seen it happen. A team went an entire sim
Yeah.
without actually having a
And
game.
it was at least
Quebec did
us.
not play a game this Saturday,
Yeah.
and that was super weird.
And we don't know if anyone else had this issue, right? We didn't check their calendar
I
because
have not looked.
I'm
I'm not
thinking
trying to say Quebec is being wronged, though I did
no,
say that
yeah.
ACAP is conspiring against us in GM chat.
But for that, I would, because I'm thinking maybe it's kind of trying to base itself on the NHL with the bye week that they have. Uh, but I don't know if it's all the team. That's probably what's happening. If it's not, it's just bad luck in scheduling.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought have not playing a game on Saturday was pretty boring, considering I was kind of excited to play Saturday, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's the other thing that happen all the time. It's like, but I want to see myself play. Why is there no Sims for us? But at the
I'm
same time, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I was not gonna play Saturday anyway, considering I started 4 straight games on
Yeah,
Friday as a backup. So
yeah. Um, and anyway, to an extent, the simmer does the schedule as best as they can. But if the team is spending a whole week not playing, it's pretty limited.
yeah,
Oh
I
uh,
yeah,
mean,
no, there's nothing they could do, and we kept, as far as I know, we just kept the default schedule because we didn't want to mess with it, and we were doing everything else with the transition. But hopefully next season runs a little bit more smoothly, and we can balance out the number of games.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, the fact that we might be able to make a custom schedule might help. I know on other league, such as PBE, we actually have someone that does an actual schedule as best as they can for the purpose of the league. So that does help to have something that is more fitted for
It
what we
it
want.
sounds like Evoc is proposing the creation of another league job.
Yeah, that could be that.
Another excuse for us to give SHL money to people. I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea.
And it's just a matter of having someone to review the job at the end. But as far as I know, if it works the same thing because um, it's the same engine-ish, same team that develops, same studio. It could be just a matter of something we could automate as well through Excel or something like that as well in the future. But I offer that. I don't offer to do it. Just for anyone listening, don't poke me about it. I don't want to do this.
Evok is volunteering to do it herself for free every single season.
Oh wow!
That's what I
No,
heard.
not for free.
Definitely, yeah,
I need the money. I lost
yeah,
my
no,
good paying job.
I wouldn't do that for free ever. That's like a good half day of work, maybe.
Maybe more, to be honest. Maybe
Probably
more.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. So for playoff, it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna develop. Um, do we have anything special that we want to talk about our own team? Because I love my team.
Oh, if we're doing QCC hype right now, yeah, we've got lots of options. I mean,
Go ahead. I'm
we
listening.
we mentioned we mentioned Shiloh leading the goals race
Yes.
by a wide margin. I mean, you look at goal scoring across the team roster, and you've got first place has 40 goals. The next highest is Sophie Bordelot with 26.
That's it.
Um, yeah, well, what I'm hoping, and I'm not really sure how this is going to play out, haven't seen stats across the league well enough to really make a judgment here. But if this means that FHM 8 really allows you to build dedicated goal scorers or dedicated assist generators, really diversify the style of player that you want, I think that would be super good for the league. Because in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a player who builds themselves to be a goal scorer or builds themselves to be a playmaker. They just kind of generate more or less points. I've never really seen a true dedicated goal only player actually execute to that without just
Hmm.
performing poorly overall.
Yeah, I don't pay attention enough to see about goal scoring, but let's have a look at previous season about the goal scorer. So last season, the best goal scorer was also pretty good in assists with about the same number, and we can see that
Laximus was just
yeah,
the most dominant player on the ice.
everything is pretty close.
Closest you really had to a pure goal scorer, I think, might have been AJ Williams in Newfoundland. And
AJ
even still,
William.
39 to 27
Oh,
is
that's last season. Yeah.
it's
I went further a bit to see A.T. William, yeah, and it's still pretty close to be honest. To
well
have
and
27,
and let's go back to the all-time single season goals record. Let's go to S61 with Grayson
it's
Cooper for QCC
61
with 49 goals
and
and 34
34.
assists.
Yeah,
Just overall the most dominant player on the ice. You've got players
well,
who
to
can generate a ton of assists, but you rarely see a pure goal scorer.
yeah, but to an extent, if we look at all the stats for goal scoring, even Shiloh is not that far away. He's only having 12 difference in the goal scoring and assist, and everyone after is pretty close. Uh, So I'm not even sure that it will allow goal scoring ability at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel good about Shiloh getting 50 because we have what, 9 games left in the
Yes.
season.
Yes, nine.
So
It's a possibility.
if he can get a goal per game pace, well, he would have to
He'll
get
tie
two.
it. Yeah.
He'll Yeah, he'd tie it, but I definitely have a strong feeling he'll break it because it's almost impossible he does not score at least a goal per game. At
I
least
wish.
recently, I would say.
He
He-
says, looking at a player who has scored 40 goals out of 57 games.
Okay, listen. I'm not good at math,
I
if you
mean,
could tell.
I love his odds. The odds at the start of the season to hit the 50 goal mark were astronomically high. And it's possible. A good strong run could honestly tie or break that record.
Yeah, I mean,
The odds are not in his favor, but he's got better odds now than I think anybody's had in a long time.
he's shooting 20%, which is pretty good for someone playing as much as he does. Because usually it's rare that you see something as high. I say that, and we see some 24%, but let's ignore that. But
Yeah, I
he's still one, two,
league
three, four,
league
five,
wide save
six.
percentage also happens to be down just a wee bit.
Yeah, but he's sixth in the
Tiny
league
bit.
in such percentage, so it's pretty good. Like I think the chances are high as well.
Yeah, I mean, the last person we've seen get remotely close was Ivan Laxmus, and
Yeah,
as you expect, season 65, where they won
46.
every game, basically. So, I
Uh,
mean,
Oh, the season before, let's see, Scotty McHitz
it's
got
47.
45.
45. Yes.
yeah, it's just
It's
two dominant Detroit teams
and yeah,
with,
Grease and Cooper is basically the team that dominate the league. Should have the best goal scorer, except this season it seems, which I'm not gonna complain.
no, definitely not going to complain. It's just, well, I mean, usually the best team in the league wins the cup, so I guess it does fit because QCC is obviously going to win it. So, there you go.
We're
There you go.
disclaimer: we're totally not biased. I don't know what you're like talking about in the comments.
Exactly. I can't wait to read the comments. It's going to be great.
If we get comments, I might just comment
Yeah,
saying like Caleb is the best or something like that.
I
And
feel like
other just verifiable factual statements.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm supporting QCC winning the cup, obviously.
same. I mean,
Okay, you want a fun season. Season 59,
oh, I want to
the
see that.
all the goal record or the goal scorer leader for season 59
Oh yeah.
was 30 goals.
Yeah, that's. Well, I mean, to an extent, the most point was 69, so that's a funny season too.
My
So
God.
what made that season so different? What made that the era of
Not scoring.
really bad scoring?
Yeah, that's
That
actually
was
quite funny.
that was the goalie era in
Oh,
the J.
look at those goalie stats. I mean, even excluding the top three who were all backups, including QCC legend Kevin Newman, who played
I
one
want to
game
see
with
leaders.
a 947 save percentage.
Yeah.
You still had, 0.922, 920, 915, 914, all from players who played half the games.
Yeah, that was an
Yeah.
Yeah,
interesting season when you look about it. Like,
And you can't forget the GOAT Tyler Ward, so
that's true. Netman himself between the pipes.
yeah, pretty good.
yeah. Probably one of
Uh,
the he was Netman the second of a very strong line of QCC goalies? Or is he like third? I thought he was second because
second.
Matt Smith was before him.
Yeah.
So, and we all know Matt Smith's legendary cup-winning Denny's in season 58.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. That's kind of what we all aspire to.
Yeah,
He had actually really good stats in playoff when we look at it. In
yeah, a one,
58,
yeah,
once.
Are those
147.
playoff
Oh,
stats?
Yeah, those are his playoff
5
stats.
shutouts in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's
What
what I'm saying.
madness!
Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Let's see.
Just go on a tear.
Shootout Colorado twice, and Kelowna, and then shootout twice in Courage as well. So that was a strong performance by Quebec team overall. Uh,
it's greatest moment in Quebec's history.
I mean, it's a cup winning season,
So
so that's
far.
for sure.
Yeah, and what it wasn't that far after Quebec like expanded into this league too.
Yes, it was the fourth season that Quebec existed. So, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, Quebec's been. I don't think they've been a full rebuild team once yet. They've
Uh,
been They've been like below 500 couple times.
We went full rebuild right at the start of my first season here.
And even
So
then, it was a
S63.
yeah, and it
And
was like for a full rebuild, we still finished 10th in the
I
league and
I
made the playoffs.
remember that so well because we were neck and neck with Anchorage for a playoff spot.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that Evok and Flex were both just miserable because their plans of tanking for draft capital were totally destroyed. But we
Kinda.
barely eked out a shootout win in the final game of the season to clinch, 1 point ahead of
Yes.
Anchorage, and that was just absolutely unbelievable. Then we forced Maine to a game 7, and they were the number 2 team.
And we beat Colorado.
Or no, we beat Colorado in 6 games. Then we played Maine, the number 2 seed, and we forced a game 7.
We were
Lost
really
in
close.
overtime.
Like, to be honest, we almost we led this series at one point, I believe. Let me check.
We're not talking about that, Evok. We're not talking about blowing a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, we did.
We forced a game.
Lead.
No, we forced a game 7, and that was a huge accomplishment.
People look at it here. We blew it hard, and then we lost in OT in 5
Yeah.
7. Oh, that was terrible. Like, I was still happy to kind of go get our draft capitals, but
I mean,
yeah,
we were able to get Boom with our first pick on that one, right? After that following off season.
I don't remember. Let me go see who we drafted. So that was
that would have been going into S64, so it was the S65 class.
65 class. So 64 draft though. And yeah, that was Boom.
Yep.
And we got
Boom.
also Foes Faker.
And then we got Patty, who betrayed us.
Patty, who betrayed to go GM Newfoundland.
Stinky Newfoundland.
And then we got Ace and TVC. So that was still a really good draft for us. And then I don't know who that is because Tashan Messer, that unfortunately
instant
didn't stay.
IA.
Yeah. Kalevi Pukala. Also
Gary was so good for us for a little while, and then he had to bail.
Luca Magic, also IA, and then the famous
and
Pass.
Then Quebec City legend Pass.
Yeah.
Who we have drafted so many times now.
Yeah, so
just keeps coming back.
The second draft was pretty good. The draft after our small-ish rebuild that didn't happen to be a rebuild in the end. But it do be what it do be.
The J is so interesting because, the SHL, you kind of have to commit at some point in your timeline to a rebuild, unless there's a couple of teams out there that just have such a strong reputation that you get players who want to play for them and only them, and those teams are going to be able to draft excellent players anywhere in the draft. But other than that, if you're in the SHL, you really have to kind of commit to a rebuild and build up your assets if you want to build a core that's going to be competitive. In the J, you really never know what you're going to get. You're getting recreates who all have different opinions on where they want to go, what they want to do with their players. You'll see players who are going to be max earners that go until the very end of the first round because they really want to play with a specific team. And then you've also got first-gen players who you can get in maybe the third or fourth round and they become just a total superstar. Or you get a really excited rookie in the first round and they flame out. And it makes it so hard to plan a specific rebuild.
Yeah.
And it's the teams that are able to make their new players just as engaged as everyone else that are ultimately successful.
Yeah, it's basically, I was drafted early third round, I thought, when my
No, we got you the day after the draft.
No,
you're SHL.
But my majors draft, I was drafted early 3rd round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here. 45 early 3rd round, 5th. Yeah, 5th pick in the 3rd round.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and now I'm half decent at this league. So there you go. And yeah,
He
I also
says, as he's currently max earning.
listen.
I'm so happy. So
But
happy.
the only yeah, I didn't know I was actually picked up on waivers the day after the draft. I never knew that actually.
Yeah, it was basically a few days after the draft. I don't think it was the day after the draft,
Well,
but
no,
it was
it
really.
was the first day we could put in a waiver claim because I distinctly remember as we were going through the draft and there was a huge run of goalies
At one
right
point, yeah.
before the pick that we would have used. And so we were just kind of sitting there and we're thinking, okay, look at some of these new creates who created right, like, I think it was like the day of the draft that you joined the site, Caleb.
Yeah,
And we're like, okay, you know, why waste a pick or why just try to settle for something or, grab an IA when we know we've got an excited user jumping in right, the day of the draft. And we
You
had that
joined
waiver claim
after.
ready to go.
Yeah, you joined the day right after.
yeah. I kind of
Wait, no.
honestly I didn't even think of joining Quebec. All I knew is that when I got recruited by Shiloh's that I was gonna get recruited by some team. I don't even think he told me he was on Quebec at the time. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, he had only been on Quebec for a couple of days at that point because we had just traded for him.
Yep.
Was he not was he drafted by
He was
was
in
he
Great Falls, his first
Oh
2 seasons.
yes, yeah, that's right.
And then we made a trade where we picked up Shiloh and the third overall pick in the same trade.
Yes.
You traded for oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
So there you go.
but basically, yeah. I'm sorry. You joined 2 or 3 days after the draft. I'm checking the date right now on the screen.
Oh,
But it was pretty soon after the draft, so we were like, even even if we didn't claim you or something, after talking during the draft, we were like, let's just sign IA and try to claim someone when they're gonna create, because that's for sure someone's gonna create, you know. And we managed to pick you, and we were pretty happy, and still pretty happy with
Good,
it.
good teams have to hit on their early picks, they have to hit on their late picks, and they've got to be able to find the right free agents. And
Yes.
yeah, as free agent signings go, obviously greatest QCC goalie yet to come in Caleb. But we've had such a great run of free agents.
I
I
mean,
mean, grabbing Val, who's been max earning since the day she joined the site.
yeah. But to
Um,
be honest, QCC goalies have,
it's
as
always been a
far as
bright
I
spot.
know, and as far as I know, any goalie that we played for a long time were FA or waiver pickup, except Ramen.
except me.
I
Yeah,
was
you guys
gonna,
wasted
I was gonna do
fifth
a toast
overall
and
on me.
forget you.
Oh boy,
Forget me like toast.
Yeah, that's it.
unbelievable. That joke will never die.
Yeah, it will not die. I
I
can't
love
believe.
SFP. All the people there are great, but now I always have to beat you because Toast forgot I existed.
To be yeah, I mean,
Oh, I
I
can't
don't know
believe.
how you forget that.
It'll be a loving rivalry we have once we're both in the SHL.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I can see, because the focus is mostly on who you have in your pipeline and who you have currently, and not who's coming in other teams' pipeline, you know? So I can see that he didn't think about it, but that was still something I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
really? Really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny to see that, but I mean, it's whatever because now ramen and toast have a love-hate relationship. So,
um,
Toast is great.
yes.
so, we've talked about standing, how we did in recent drafts. What do you think is gonna come up on the next SHL draft? QCC has some pretty good prospect in the pipeline, but what do you think
I
about it?
There's a really good chance that we can see a QCC player go first overall, and that is
Again,
just awesome.
yeah, crazy
I think it's
mojito, no choice.
yeah, right.
So,
Okay.
I mean,
I love Mojito's great, but I mean, for all we know, we could have two UCC players get picked in the top five,
I
and
mean, top two,
that's
top
amazing
two.
on its own. Yeah, that's true. Although Evok's definitely going one overall because Evok wants to be picked one overall.
Because I
So
asked for it.
That's true.
yes,
You did ask, and as we all know, if you ask to be drafted first
That's
overall,
gonna
the
happen.
rules state you have to be drafted
Yeah,
first overall.
that's it. It's
although
like
Um,
it's like the shotgun. If you
yeah,
ask, you have to have it. No
I
one
I
don't
mean,
else.
even
so it'll
I
be interesting to see how the lottery plays out because we've got,
Yeah. Let
you know,
me let me go see the SHL standing as well. All right.
I know who's at the bottom
do
yeah,
you do
because
you
it's me.
do you? you
I
should
don't yeah.
you should start to win a few more games. Uh, man, even if you win all your game that you
I
have,
I think we might actually be confirmed dead
yeah,
last now.
because how many you
Cool.
have 8 games, you
Hey,
can win
that's
a
one
total of.
free TPE in my season predictions.
Well, you're not
Yeah.
clinched yet, but it would be really hard to actually go over Minnesota.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know how the draft lottery works entirely. I know the is it the
Let
just
me
the
see.
bottom four teams in the standings?
Let me see if we can go check the rules together.
I mean, it would be hold
Oh,
on.
it's the first
Bottom
team.
three teams in points, right? I'm not being dumb. Or
It's
bottom four.
it's the bottom
Time to
four in
find out.
point. Standing non-playoff team. I'm in the rule right now. If you look at the stream.
Yeah,
Um,
non-playoff teams. So how do playoff seeds get determined in the SHL?
I have
I
no
mean,
idea.
it's by division purely because you're 20, 20, 20. So it's whoever is last in their division.
Oh, okay.
So
So
Edmonton, Minnesota,
Edmonton,
Baltimore,
Minnesota,
and New England,
Baltimore,
I
and
would expect.
which is actually the bottom four in the league.
Yeah,
Wow. That what
that
are the odds of
that
that?
works well for once. But I say that I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's how it worked
No,
because
I
that was make the most sense. But even then, SH
so
like franchise hockey manager, I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
and from there, what are the odds for each of the four teams? Are they pretty close, or is it based on your actual points?
It's based on the actual point. So basically, right now, it would be Edmonton
Uh,
with 30
with
balls,
30, then 25. Okay,
25, 20, and
so
15.
really it is still pretty up in the air. I mean, I would be
Yes,
surprised if Baltimore got first overall,
it
just
can.
because that's pretty unlikely,
Yeah.
but it could happen. I really can't be surprised if it's Edmonton, Minnesota, or New England. Um, what we do know for sure is that, assuming the standings end the way that they do, Edmonton can pick no later than third. Minnesota could pick no later than fourth,
Uh,
right? I guess any
no.
of the four could be fourth because
Actually,
it's.
you could pick fourth, I believe.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought it was just the first.
well, it does say pick 1 to 4 determined by
Oh, yeah.
lottery.
I thought I didn't think all
So,
four picks were
uh,
lottery, but anything. I guess anything could happen.
I'm gonna go try to see in Draft Central. No, that's the SMGHL, SHL. Uh, let's see how this ended up. I don't want the sound. I just want to see. Uh, I'm just trying to see how it works. But yeah, I believe that everyone can.
Oh yeah, looks like it could be
Calgary, Minnesota,
any of the four.
and
Okay, well that makes things interesting. There really is no guarantee. So with those four teams, up in the running. I mean, really, players I think will go very high. You look at current draft class tracker. You've got Antonio Fluso from Massive Coiler as a defenseman. Defensemen always seem to go a little bit higher than forwards do,
We have a few good
and you could
defensemen.
certainly see a first overall type pick there.
Fun fact: the 4 first defensemen in the league right now in TPE are right defensemen.
No love for left side,
No love for the left.
Wouldn't be
but
surprised if these right defensemen could also play left, but we'll
Oh
see.
yeah, we can play both sides.
oh,
Basically.
it's super. Yeah, the difference is a 20 versus a 19 in your position fit in FHM. So really, it's not anything.
Yeah. What do you?
Unless you believe that handedness really matters, which some people do and some people don't.
I don't know. I'm
Sure.
actually curious about that, to be honest. Would need to do some tests at one point, maybe one day in life.
Evoc is test simming.
No.
Ban.
Oh yeah.
Instant
Yes.
ban.
Yes. Please ban
Straight
me.
to HO.
Ban
Oh
me. Please. um.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Other fun fact: the leader of the class is a goalie. What do you think will happen?
Well, the leader of the last class was a goalie. They went pretty high.
Oh yeah, they went. They went pretty high, but they still went late in the first round, I believe. Let me go see. So that's not pretty high actually. It's
I.
they went 16.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Do you
Well,
think?
no, 12th. 12th was the first goalie off the board. It wasn't even the highest TPE.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's funny. So the first goalie went 20,
Um,
12. Sorry.
and you never know. I don't know whether Rich intends to stay a goalie or not, because we
That's
also
true.
had
That could change
last last season first overall
because
was
yeah,
a goalie changing into a skater.
theory, yeah, that was, and that broke the scrapper. As you
Yeah.
can see
Yep.
here, there is no position on Jeffy, so I would expect that it broke the scrapper for the tool. Oh, it's
Well, fun.
because they haven't put the right position. That's why
Ah,
they
Rest in
only
peace.
put F, which is not what should be. But
interesting. I wonder what position they're actually listed at in the file.
yeah, we should maybe have someone fix that at one point in the day. I will maybe report it.
If that's the difference maker, then
I mean, it does
oh well.
it
It does
does
something,
it does
but
break
does
the
it do much?
index, and
That's the part that bothers me is breaking the index.
well, not the index, but that, yeah, and to an extent, I think it's important to have accurate information because are they a center or a winger? Like
Yeah.
they're probably a winger because they only have 5 face-off, but like at the end of the day, it can be also important for trades and all that kind of things, down the road. So that's why
But
I'm
let's see.
thinking.
Looking back at the draft class, though, we've got what are the things that SHL GMs and war rooms really look at when they're drafting a player? I obviously recreates have a pretty strong advantage over some new users in the
Yeah,
SHL draft because your GMs really want a sure thing, especially with their first pick of the class.
especially early.
But
Yeah.
yeah, especially early. Um, every once in a while, you do see a new first gen user go first overall, but it's definitely not the norm. But
It
if Rich chooses
happens.
to change position, then he'll be up there. I mean, you look at things like time on the site. You look at the history of their past players if they're a recreate. You look at the size of their bank account because you don't want someone coming in strong but then just not being able to fund their top tier coaching and all the
Yeah,
weekly trainings.
and
But I don't see anything in like the top 10 or even further in this class that would scare away a GM.
no, no, yeah,
Everybody's
for
got
sure.
money in the bank. Everybody is earning. I mean, this looks like a really strong class. So I think it's going to come down not really to TPE, at the top, but just personality, locker room fit, previous connections.
Yeah.
You've got players like you know Evok. You've got connections with half the league, so it's really hard to say, you know, oh, Evok is always going to be on one team or another. But you've got people who have connections to teams. They know who they like. They know who they don't like.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I wouldn't be surprised to see anyone in this top 10 go first overall based on a strong connection to a team that's drafting them.
I agree. And for new user in the top 10, we seems to have two. We have some user that are less present, but we have Eric VM, 46 posts only, but earning pretty well. And we have Austin with 172. So both are
Yeah,
Legendary name though.
Rodcocker.
Yeah, very legendary
that is
name.
an SHL name if there ever was
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's one of the great name. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I
to
actually I saw there was a new recreate, and there was one actually a pretty funny name. It was just first name was the first name and last name was the last name. I never really thought of
yeah,
that before, but I
first name,
Which
mean,
is
last
funny
name.
because they will be the second first name, last name in the league at the same time.
Yes, because there
yeah,
is a first name, last name, and the only reason they're probably allowed to keep the name is because one have um, hyphen. I think that's called the name.
Oh,
Uh,
so it's not the exact same
it's
name.
not the exact same name because as far as I know, I don't know if they changed that now, but back in the days, we could not have two players with the same name. Even if this and try and allow us to, they didn't want to. So that so far the only reason I could see that they are allowed, except if the rule change, is because of the
It
hyphen.
it makes it so hard on the index and the file team and everything else.
Yeah,
Like,
that's probably
yeah,
why. Because you can differentiate them by ID and everything, but I mean at that point, it's like even that might be tricky at like down the road to make sure that are you editing the right first name last name? Are you sure? I had this problem today with hyphen, which was crazy. Quickly, I was trying to pay my taxes, and on the bank, I had to search for the institution. And the difference between finding the right account to pay in and not finding it was a hyphen. And I was like, really? Fuck that. It's like I spent days trying to find this fucking account.
see, this is just another example of how doing work for SHL prepares you for the real world.
Yeah, hyphen can be important.
Don't forget about the hyphens.
Yeah. Um, who is the highest IA? I'm curious about that. Um,
Oh, that's always fun.
so actually, all the
Got
IA are pretty much all the same TP. Oh no, we have taco salad.
we got a 173,
Yep,
but
yep.
I'm impressed. We have a ton of actives.
Yeah, this class is pretty
This is a good
great
class.
with activity. I'm actually surprised we have so many. Uh,
we don't
like,
talk about the 155s who are active though.
do
I
we
mean,
have
they can
some?
still be, yeah, bro. They're like
Oh,
all
at
the
the
way down
end.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't forget, like, we've had people, even as recently as like 2 days ago,
Yeah, they could.
join, create a player, and
Yeah,
they're now in the S67 class. So that's not, I mean, the timing is unfortunate for them, but
yeah,
it's not
Yeah,
to say that because they're active and low in this season that they're doomed. In fact,
no, and
really, with the difference between JPTs and SHLPTs and the higher level of coaching and weekly training available, if you're gonna be totally inactive or partially inactive during any given season in your career, your first one is the one to do it.
I mean that was basically me last season. I only did activity checks and weekly training, so I mean,
yeah.
And now
as I
you're
And
on
now
track for an awesome
you're
career.
yeah, and now you're climbing the TP scale. Now 40 in your class, and I'm fairly sure that you will keep climbing.
hopefully I'm on a good PT streak and I don't want to break it.
Yeah. um. All right. So that's honestly all that we need for today. So I'm gonna thank everyone for joining us. It was great to talk to you all. Caleb and Raymond, thank you for co-hosting with me. And
Always
Any,
fun.
yeah, anytime.
yeah, we will probably do more. So be on track for the hockey hoot. No, the Howl Hoot tonight.
Can't even get the name right. What a shame.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's I need to remember how I say it. So that's why it's like I only have hockey talk tonight or lion talk tonight in head. But no, it's the Howl Hoot tonight.
It's a great name. It's the best name out of all the two-night names, to be
Yes.
honest.
Most original there is.
Exactly. We were the original makers of this.
It's
And nobody can prove us wrong,
it's us that
Kappa.
started the trend, because the two before us didn't know that it would become a trend, you know?
Yep.
Exactly.
We're trendsetters.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Alright, so I thank you both, guys. Thank you for everyone that listened. And we will see each other the next time. Have a good night, everyone.